crochet cute things, please don't skip this part of the video unless you want your teddy bear to end up larger than your head or smaller than your hand. But all jokes aside, I'm going to talk about the importance of yarn and hook size for this plushie and all other plushies on my channel. If you want a larger plushie, you can use a thicker yarn with a larger size hook. So for example, a chunky yarn with a 6mm hook. And if you want a smaller plushie, then you can use a regular medium weight cotton or acrylic yarn with a 3.5 or 4mm hook. My plushie is slightly larger than my hand, and I used fluffy yarn with a 4mm hook. I didn't really keep track of how much yarn I used, but I know that it's definitely less than one ball of yarn for each color. With that being said, you can sell plushies that you make with this tutorial and pattern. Create one for your small business, share it on social media using my community hashtag, or add it to your art portfolio. On that note, you can establish a unique online identity and become more visible in the art community when using a .art domain for art-related content like your handmade crochet projects. A .art domain from Portman is a versatile domain extension that instantly adds credibility and visibility in the art world. For artists, it's a virtual gallery space or online portfolio to showcase your creativity and vision. It's also a space for like-minded art enthusiasts to find inspiration from your site. Adding even more value to your investment, every .art domain from Portman comes with free Whois Privacy, free SSL certificates, web and email hosting trials, and more. All of this is backed by Portman's superior support team 365 days a year, which is why it's no wonder that Portman was named the #1 domain registrar by USA Today for 2023 and 2024. So in a world where pixels hold as much power as pigments, a .art domain brings the art community together to celebrate creativity. So what are you waiting for? Get your .art domain from Portman today and make the internet a more beautiful place with your creations. Also, one more thing, before you start following the tutorial, please scroll down to the video's description. This is the text directly below the video, and open up the written pattern. This will be a link to my blog, and the pattern is completely for free. Please keep it open for reference so that you don't have to go back and forth. And that's just about it. Happy crocheting, everyone. We're going to start making the teddy bear with the head. So you can start all of your pieces with either a real magic ring or a fake magic ring. When I'm working with fluffy yarn, I like to use a fake magic ring instead of a real one because the yarn tends to shed when I pull on the magic ring. So to make a fake magic ring, you're going to start off by making a regular slip knot. This is how I like to do mine. After that, I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. And then I'm going to insert my hook into the very first chain to make a circle. So go into that very first chain that you made, and then slip stitch like that, and in between your chains you would have formed a circle or your fake magic ring. So the area where my nail's poking out right over there, that's going to be your fake magic ring. Now we're going to chain 1, and remember that this chain 1 doesn't count as a stitch, it's just there to help us start the first row. And now for round 1, we're going to be inserting 8 single crochets into this hole that you formed. So if you made a regular magic ring, then you're going to do the same steps. You're still going to insert 8 single crochets into the magic ring. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, and then yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops on your hook. Don't forget to mark this very first single crochet. So that's how you'll know that this is the starting and end of your round. Now that I'm done with my first single crochet, I'm going to go back into that same circle that's in between the chains, and I'm going to do 7 more single crochets to complete round 1. So that's 2, 3, 4. Now that I'm done with 8 single crochets, I'm just going to pull this yarn a little bit tighter to close up the hole at the top. Now for round 2, we're going to be inserting 2 single crochets into every stitch. So all of those 8 stitches that you made, you're going to be inserting 2 single crochets into each of them, so that will bring your stitch count up from 8 to 16. So we're going to start from the marked stitch. Remove your marker, then go ahead and do your first single crochet and place your marker back into this stitch. Now go back into the same stitch where you just single crocheted and do another single crochet. So that's how you're going to do 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Now let's repeat this into the next stitch. So that's 1 single crochet, back into the same stitch, that's your second single crochet. Now go ahead and repeat this all the way around, inserting 2 single crochets into every stitch to complete round 2. Now that I'm done with round 2, for round 3 we're going to be following a slightly different pattern. So now we're going to do 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch we're going to do an increase. And an increase is basically when you insert 2 single crochets into the same stitch. So let's do this together. First, go ahead and insert your hook into the marked stitch, and you're going to do your very first single crochet. Then go ahead and place your stitch marker back. So don't forget to place the stitch marker into the first stitch of every round. So now that we're done with 1 single crochet, in the next stitch, we're going to be inserting an increase. So you're going to insert 1 single crochet, then go back into the same stitch and insert another single crochet. So now you have 1 single crochet and then 2 single crochets in the same stitch, which is an increase. Now we're going to repeat this all the way around. So 1 single crochet, and then in the next stitch, an increase. 1 single crochet, and in the next stitch an increase, or in other words, 2 single crochets into that same stitch. Repeat this all the way around. Once you're done with round 3, we're going to start round 4, and this time the pattern is going to be 2 single crochets and then an increase. So that means that we're going to insert 1 single crochet, another 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and then an increase in the stitch after that. So let's do this together. First, we're going to insert our hook into the stitch with the marker, and we're going to do our first single crochet of round 4 and then place the stitch marker back where we started. So that's our first single crochet. Now in the next stitch, we're going to do another single crochet, and then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase. So that means 2 single crochets in the same stitch. Now we're going to repeat this all the way around. So 1 single crochet, another 1 single crochet, and then an increase in the next stitch. Repeat all the way around. 2 single crochets and then an increase. Now we're going to do round 5, and it's going to be a similar pattern. So this time we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do an increase. So let's do this together. Once again, repeating the same steps. So start from the marked stitch, do your first single crochet, and then place the marker back to mark the first stitch of round 5. So that's 1 single crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to do another 1 single crochet. Into the next stitch, another 1 single crochet. So that's going to be 3 single crochets, and then in the next stitch, we're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. And that's it. You're going to repeat this pattern all the way around to complete round 5. The next few rounds are going to be pretty repetitive. All we're going to do is insert 1 single crochet into each stitch all the way around, so our stitch count will remain 40. So let's start with round 6. For the next few rounds, you're going to start them the same way. First, you're going to insert your hook into the marked stitch and do your first single crochet, and then mark it with your marker just like before. So please don't forget this step. From now on, we're just going to insert 1 single crochet into every stitch. So there's going to be no more increases, no more 2 single crochets. Just insert your hook into the stitch and do 1 single crochet all the way around to complete round 6. Once you're done with round 6, you're going to notice that your work is starting to curve downwards, and that's exactly what we want because we're going to be building some length for the head over here. So for round 7, you're going to repeat the same step as round 6. Insert your hook into the marked stitch, do your first single crochet of round 7, and then go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around to complete round 7, and then go ahead and do the following rounds by repeating the same steps. Once you're done with round 13, you're going to notice that the head is much longer, and now we're going to start decreasing it so we can close it up now. So the pattern for round 14 is going to be 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So we're going to start by doing 1 single crochet to start off the round. Now we have to do the next 2 single crochets. So in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, in the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and that's going to be your 3 single crochets. And now we have to do a decrease. So to do a decrease, we're going to be grabbing onto only the front loop of the stitch. So this is the front loop and that's the back loop. So when we're working, we usually go into both of them like that. But for a decrease, you're just going to grab the front loop like that. And then you're going to grab onto the front loop of the other stitch as well. And then once you have 3 loops on your hook, you're going to yarn over and pull through 2 of them, and yarn over and pull through the other 2, making a decrease. Now we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So we're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to do a decrease. So grab onto the front loop, grab onto the next stitch's front loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Now repeat this pattern all the way around, and you're going to start to notice that your head is getting a little bit smaller, which is exactly what we want. For round 15, the pattern is going to be very similar. It's going to be 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So let's start the round. And of course, don't forget to mark it. That's our first single crochet. In the next stitch, we're going to do our second single crochet. So together, that's 2 single crochets. And now we're going to do a decrease. So grab onto the front loop and the front loop of the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now we're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So 2 single crochets, 1 and 2, and then a decrease and repeat. Now our pattern is going to be 1 single crochet and then a decrease. So we're going to start off with just 1 single crochet, and then the next stitch is going to be a decrease and repeat. So 1 single crochet and then a decrease. For the next round, we're not going to be doing any single crochets. We're just going to decrease all the way around. So starting from your very first stitch that was marked, you're going to start your decrease. So that's going to be my very first decrease stitch of this round, and don't forget to mark it. Now just go ahead and decrease all the way around. So in total, you should have 8 decreases. Once you're done, here's how to fasten off the pieces. These are the steps that we're going to repeat every time we want to end a piece. So into the stitch where your marker is, you're going to go into it and slip stitch, and then just cut the yarn, pull and tighten to secure. Now we're going to be adding the eyes. For this little piece over here, I used a slightly different shade of off-white just to make it a little bit different. I don't know if I like it or if I'm going to keep it, but let's see how it goes. To make this little piece, you're going to do the same thing that you did for round 1 and round 2 of the head. So you're going to make your real or fake magic ring. Then you're going to insert 8 single crochets for round 1 and then 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around for round 2. Next, we're going to be embroidering the nose. So I've got my regular acrylic or cotton yarn. You can also use the same fluffy yarn. It's completely up to you. And I've attached it to my needle with a double knot. And now we're going to embroider the nose. So I like doing this before I sew this onto the head, just so I can make sure that the nose is exactly what I want. I'm going to insert my needle from the back and pull and go down. I think I want it to be a little bit wider. I think that's good. I don't know, let's see. I'm gonna do this a couple of times just to make the nose a little bit thicker. Go back down. So that's what it looks like. And now I have to make a line down the middle. So I'm going to insert my needle from the middle here, I think, and go up. And then go back down under this part and pull. Okay, so that's not completely in the middle, but that's what it looks like. I think it's gonna look okay. I don't know, I think I'm gonna redo it, but that's basically how you're going to embroider the nose and the face. To make the hat, you're going to repeat the same steps that you did for the top of the head from round 1 to 5. So you can go ahead and replay that part of the video, and with a different color that you want for the hat, go ahead and repeat the same steps to start with that fake or real magic ring and then do round 1 to 5. After you're done with round 5, we're going to do round 6 a little bit differently. So for round 6, we're going to do the pattern of 4 single crochets and then an increase. So you're going to start the round like normal with your first single crochet and mark it. Now instead of doing 3 single crochets like we did for round 5, you're going to increase it by 1. So you're going to do 4 single crochets. That's 1, and then we're going to do 2, and then 3, and then 4. So all together you should have 4 single crochets. And then after that, you're going to do an increase, which is 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And that's the pattern that you're going to repeat all the way around. 4 single crochets and then an increase. Now from round 6 onwards, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So the same steps that we did for the head, you're going to start off with your first single crochet Now from round 7 onwards, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch, so there's going to be no more increases. So just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch, keeping the same stitch count, and repeat all the way around for the next few rounds. And this is going to build some length for the hat so that it can wrap around your head. So this is what my hat looks like so far on my bear after I finished with round 13. So now we have to make the hat a little bit tighter so that it can fit snugly around the head. So we're going to do a decrease round. So the pattern that we're going to repeat is 3 single crochets and then a decrease. So go ahead and insert your hook into the marked stitch. 1 single crochet, that's the 2nd single crochet, and that's the 3rd single crochet. So you've got 3 single crochets at the start, and now you're going to do a decrease. If you feel like you need to make your hat longer, go ahead and just do another round of 1 single crochet in every stitch before you do this decrease round. That's going to build some length and make the hat fit better if that's what you think will make your bear look cuter. So it is completely up to you. So we're repeating the pattern of 3 single crochets and then a decrease all the way around. Once you're done with that, it's going to be a little bit tighter, and you can stop here, but I think that I want to make this a little bit longer, so I'm just going to do 1 round of 1 single crochet in every stitch just to make the hat a little bit longer. But you don't have to do this if you don't want to, and you can just fasten off. Now for my last round, I'm just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, no increases and no decreases. Once you're ready to end your work, just insert your hook into the marked stitch and slip stitch like that. And then you can go ahead and cut the yarn, pull and tighten to secure. To make the body, we're going to start by doing the same steps that you did for the head from round 1 till round 13. So you can go ahead and replay that part of the video. So just go to the part where I show you how to crochet the head and follow the steps from round 1 to 13. Now, once you've done that, round 14 is going to be a little bit different. So the pattern is going to be 3 single crochet and then a decrease, because we want the body to start decreasing a little bit. So you're going to start by inserting your hook into the marked stitch, do your first single crochet of round 14 and mark it with a marker. So that's our first single crochet. Now we're going to do our 2nd single crochet, and then we're going to do our 3rd single crochet. So then together, this is 3 single crochets, and now we're going to do a decrease. So you're going to grab onto the front loop and the front loop of the next stitch and decrease. Now you're going to repeat this pattern all the way around. So you're going to do 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to do a decrease by grabbing onto the front loops only, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Now go ahead and repeat this all the way around, and you're going to notice that your body is going to get a little bit smaller. For the next round, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So there's going to be no increases and no decreases, just 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. Make sure that your stitch count remains the same, and let's go ahead and complete this round and then move on to the next one. Next, we're going to decrease the body a little bit more. If you don't want to do this, then you can go ahead and just do another round of 1 single crochets in every stitch, but I want to make the body a little bit smaller, not too chunky. So now I'm going to do 2 single crochets and then a decrease and repeat it all the way around. So that's going to be my very first single crochet. And then I'm going to do my 2nd single crochet. So together that's 2 single crochets, and then I'm going to do a decrease. And now repeat this pattern all the way around. So 1 single crochet, the 2nd single crochet, and then a decrease. Now once again, we're going to do a round with just 1 single crochet in every stitch. So it's kind of like a pattern. We did a round of decreases, and then we would do a round of 1 single crochet in every stitch. So by now you guys know what to do, so just go ahead and do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. And whenever you feel like you don't need the demonstrations, you can always just switch over to the written pattern, which is in this video's description. So if you scroll down, it's where all the text is, and it's for free, of course. Now once again, we're going to do one more round of just 1 single crochet in every stitch to add some length to the top of the body. Please keep in mind that you can always make adjustments wherever you feel like. So if you don't like the length of it, you can just do more rounds of 1 single crochet in every stitch or less round. Once you're done, we're going to end our work. So insert your hook into the marked stitch and then slip stitch to end, and then you can go ahead and cut your yarn, pull, and tighten to secure. Now go ahead and stuff the body, and then we're going to sew the head onto the body. Now this is going to be a little bit confusing, but it's just a basic sewing stitch that I'm doing all around. So to sew the body and the head together, I'm using pink yarn. So I recommend using a yarn that matches the color of your hat. And all you're going to do is line up the stitches of the body to a stitch in the hat. So I like keeping it on top like this, and then I'm going to insert my needle through the stitch in the body, and then through a stitch in the hat like that, and then I'm just going to pull, and that's going to attach it together. Then once again, I look at the placement, I put it up, and then I go through a stitch in the body and a stitch in the hat. So it's just a lot of guesswork because you can't really see the stitches that clearly. So just do whatever looks best for your plushie and sew all the way around until you come back to where you started. Next, we're going to make the arms. So just like all of our other pieces, you're going to get started by making a real magic ring or a fake magic ring. So I've started all of my pieces with a fake magic ring, so you can make a slip knot and then chain 3, 2, and 3, and then slip stitch into the very first chain. And chain 1 to start the round. Now you should have a little circle in between. For round 1, we're going to be inserting 6 single crochets into the circle. So insert your hook into that circle, and then go ahead and insert 6 single crochets, but don't forget to mark the very first one. That's a super important step, otherwise you won't be able to track your rounds. Now go ahead and insert 6 single crochets. Once you're done with 6 single crochets, for round 2, we're going to be inserting 2 single crochets into every stitch. So insert your hook into the marked stitch to start the round, do your first single crochet, and place your marker back into that stitch. Now go back into that same stitch and insert your second single crochet. So this is just like what we did before for round 2 of our head and for the body. You just have to insert 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around, so that's going to bring your stitch count up to 12. Now from round 3 till round 8, you're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So just like before, you're going to start off by doing 1 single crochet to start the round. Now go ahead and just do 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around, and you're going to do this for round 3, round 4, round 5, round 6, round 7, and round 8, making sure that your stitch count remains 12. Once you're done with your 8 rounds, we're going to start round 9 with decreases in every stitch. So you're going to do a total of 6 decreases starting from the very first stitch as well. So go ahead and do your very first decrease, and then place your marker in that stitch, and then go ahead and decrease all the way around. So you're not going to be doing any single crochets, you're just doing 6 decreases all the way around. Now for the very last round, we're just going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So in total, you just have to do 6 single crochets, and then you're going to be done. Once you're done, insert your hook into the marked stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch. Then you're ready to end your work. So I'm going to leave a slightly long string just so I can use this same string to sew it on later as well. And then if you want, you can go ahead and add stuffing to your arms. Next, I'm going to show you how to make the legs. Now you can choose to make the legs with 2 colors like I did. I used pink and cream, or you can also make it in 1 color. So if you're making it in 1 color, you don't have to do the color switch at the 3rd round. But if you're making it in 2 colors, I'm going to show you how to do that. So let's get started. Like how we start every single piece with a real or fake magic ring. I'm doing a fake magic ring, so slip knot and chain 3, slip stitch, chain 1 to start the round, and then now for round 1, we're going to be inserting 8 single crochets into your magic ring, whether it's fake or real. That's my first single crochet, so we have to mark it. I'm going to go ahead and do 7 more to make a total of 8. For round 2, we're going to be inserting 2 single crochets in every stitch. Go ahead and do 2 single crochets in every stitch all the way around, which is going to bring your stitch count up from 8 to 16. Now I'm going to show you how to switch colors in the 3rd round. So you're going to insert your hook into the marked stitch. So you're going to start the 3rd round, but you're not going to complete it with pink. So you're not going to pull this up. Instead, you're going to make a loop with this cream color, and you're going to slide that loop through the stitch as well as through the loop of pink on your hook like that, and then you're just going to tighten this pink part. Now you're going to chain 1 and then go back into that same stitch where you just inserted your white yarn, so where you pulled it through, go back through it and then do your first single crochet of round 3. Then go ahead and place your marker into this first single crochet. That's how you can switch colors. Now I'm just going to cut the pink yarn because we don't need it anymore, but I'm still going to leave this long string so we can work over it. Now for round 3, 4, and 5, you just have to do 1 single crochet in every stitch. So insert your hook into the next stitch, do 1 single crochet, into the next stitch, 1 single crochet, and now go ahead and do just 1 single crochet for round 3, round 4, and round 5, and I'll meet you once we're done with that. If you wanted to see what it'll look like once you're done with round 3, here's what it looks like. Now to start round 4, you're going to go into the marked stitch. So remember your stitch count and make sure you've done that same number of single crochets for round 3, because there should be an extra loop here, which is that little slip stitch that we did when we were changing colors. So don't insert anything over there. So just make sure you have the right stitch count and then start round 4. Now go ahead and do just 1 single crochet for round 4 and then the same thing for round 5 as well. Once you're done, this is what you should have, and now let's end our work. So you're going to insert your hook into that marked stitch and just slip stitch. You're ready to fasten off. Remember to leave a long string because you can use the same string to just sew the leg onto the body so that you don't have to attach any other string of yarn. Tighten to secure, and then you can add stuffing, and now let's sew everything together. Now it's time for my least favorite part of any amigurumi tutorial, this sewing. So go ahead and crochet the ears. So for round 1, it's 8 single crochets, round 2 is 2 single crochets in every stitch, and then round 3 is just 1 single crochet in every stitch all the way around. You can also just open up the written pattern. It's super easy, same steps as before. And then go ahead and attach it to your needle with a knot. Now the ear is a little bit tricky to sew because we want it to have this curved in shape. We don't want it to be just flat like that. So what I want you to do is just pinch the ear and see where you'd like to place it. So pinch it like this and then just find the perfect position for it. And now you have to sew this shape together. So you can sew all the way around and sew the inside together. So you're going to be joining the ear to this pink hat. So you're going to pinch it, make sure it looks good, and then you're going to take your needle and grab a stitch from the hat like this, and then you're going to insert it through a stitch on the ear, and then you're going to pull, and that is what's going to sew it together. And you have to be very careful about which stitch you're joining it to. So now this stitch has to be a little bit forward, so instead of grabbing onto a stitch from this row, I'm going to grab onto a stitch from here. So just making sure everything looks good, I'm gonna grab the stitch first. So placement is really important in making sure that you get the ears to look the best, and then just pull. And there, that's how you're gonna get that little pinched in effect. It's all about which stitches you're joining it to. Now go ahead and just sew all the way around. Now I'm going to show you how to make a mini cherry. So this is not the perfect pattern, so if you want to use something else for the cherry, please go ahead. But this is just what I quickly worked up. So we're going to start with a real or fake magic ring, just like how we started all of our pieces before. So make a slip knot and then chain 3. And then slip stitch into that very first chain that you made. And then chain 1 to start the round, but remember that it doesn't count as a stitch. Now we're going to be working into the hole that's in between our chains. So go into it, and for round 1, we're going to be inserting 6 single crochets. So that's 1, 2, and of course don't forget to mark the very first single crochet that you made. Once you've got 6 single crochets, we're going to do something a little bit different. So instead of doing 2 single crochets in every stitch like we've been doing previously, we're going to do 1 single crochet and then an increase. So we're going to change it up a little bit. So go into your very first stitch, the one that's marked over here. Now in the next stitch we have to do an increase, which means that you're going to insert 2 single crochets in the same stitch. And now repeat this pattern all the way around. So you're going to do 1 single crochet, and then you're going to do an increase. Once you're done, you should have something that looks like this. And now we're going to do 1 single crochet and then a decrease for round 3. So let's start off with our 1 single crochet. And next we're going to do a decrease, so grab onto the front loops of your stitches. And then once you have 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and then yarn over, pull through 2 again. This is going to be really tight just because your piece is already so small, so there might be a little bit of a struggle. Now we're going to repeat this all the way around, so we're going to do 1 single crochet and then a decrease. Once that's done, you can add stuffing if you want to, but I don't think I need it just because the hole is really small. You can just also stuff it with some scrap yarn. But after that's done, we're going to do 1 last decrease. So it's just going to be 1 more decrease to close it up a little bit more. And now we're done with the pattern for our cherry. So we're going to close up this hole, and I'm just going to go through the stitches like that. And then I'm going to pull through and slip stitch to close it up. And now I'm just going to fasten off, pull and tighten to secure. And then the next step is really important because you have to fluff it up and basically give it the shape of a little cherry to make it a little bit rounder, but that's what your cherry will look like. So go ahead and make 2. Next we're going to make the little string or the bow that wraps around the teddy bear, and we are also going to be attaching our cherries to the end of it. So you can use plush yarn for this, but I don't have the shade of green that I like, so I'm using just a regular cotton yarn with my same 4mm hook. So you're going to start by making a slip knot, and then go ahead and chain a really long string. I don't know how long it has to be yet because I'm still doing it, but I'm going to put the number up on screen. But you don't have to stick to that number, so if you want it to be shorter, just do less chains. If you want it to be longer, do more chains. So I did a total of 78 chains, and now I'm just going to cut the yarn, pull and tighten to secure. You are going to lose a few chains at this part, so that's why I did like 3 extra. Now we're going to use these ends to attach it to our our cherry. So here's how I like to attach the cherry. I'm sure there are more secure ways of doing this, but I'm honestly really lazy. So remember the string that we had. First, I'm going to hide this string, so I'm going to attach it to my needle with a knot. And then I'm just going to take this and insert it through the middle right here and just bring it out. I still have some space. I'm going to go back down from the other side as well, just to make it a little bit extra secure. And then I'm just going to cut it. So now we've hidden that. Now I'm going to use that same technique to attach this to the cherry. So I'm going to go and see where I want the top of the cherry to be. And I'm going to go right through here and pull all the way. And I'm going to pull a little bit more so that some of the chains get basically stuck inside the cherry. So even if I pull it, it's not really going to come out unless I yank it, of course, with a lot of force. And then I'm going to go back through and come out over here, just having this little green thing get stuck inside the cherry, and then go back in again. Okay, and I think that's secure enough, so I'm just going to cut this extra and then use my hook to just push it inside to hide this little green thing. And there you go, that's how you can attach your cherry to the stem. For the legs, I sewed them right at the top of round 5. So I'm just going all the way around, and then once I have a little bit of space left, I'm going to take my stuffing and just stuff it. The more stuffing you add, the better your teddy bear will look. And once I think that that looks good, I'm going to continue sewing all the way around. So for this, I'm just going to be inserting my needle through a stitch in the body and then a stitch in the leg. So I just grab a stitch like this, and then I grab a stitch in the leg, and then I pull it through. And then I'm gonna take a look to see if that looks fine. Okay, no, that doesn't look fine, so I'm probably gonna redo it, but that's basically how you sew it together. You just go through a stitch in the body and a stitch on the leg, pull, and do this all the way around. This is how I end all of my sewing. So I'll usually go into this stitch and a stitch through the piece that I'm sewing on, and then once I have a small loop left, I'm just going to go through it, and it makes like a little knot, and I tighten the knot, and then I'm going to take my needle and push it through the body, pull it, and then I just cut off the extra. And there you go. I'm going to show you really quickly where I'll sew the arm on. So I'm going to sew this top part to the body over here. So I'm just going to hold it like that and pinch it under the hat over there, and I'm just going to sew it like that.